If you're new to the Ace Combat series because you just heard about Ace Combat 7 Skies Unknown, this video will be perfect for you.
Because we will be answering some of the most commonly asked questions regarding Ace Combat 7's gameplay, lore, story, and a little bit more. But first you may be asking yourself, who the hell are these two?
My name is Ace Combat Fan, and I've been playing the Ace Combat games since the early 2000s. I've been here on YouTube for about 7 years, mostly covering the Ace Combat games and the Ace Combat lore.
And I am Tomcat171. I have been playing Ace Combat games for 20 years, and I started YouTube seriously with Ace Combat 6 in 2007, and I sort of dabble inside and outside of Let's Plays in between.
And since both of us have been following the Ace Combat 7 news since its announcement, we're in a perfect position to provide you with insights on this niche series and also the newest installment.
And with the introductions out the way, let's kick off with the first question, which would be, just what is Ace Combat?
Ace Combat is a series of arcade flight shooter games. It's not a simulator. Created by Namco, now Bandai Namco, that began in 1992 as an arcade cabinet under the name Air Combat. In 1995, Air Combat was released to consoles, but in Japan the game was titled Ace Combat, which ended up becoming the name of the series from there on. As of now, Ace Combat is the oldest living franchise of the flight shooter genre, with 23 years having passed since it was released on the original PlayStation. Is Ace Combat 7 the 7th game of the series?
In matter of fact, no. The Ace Combat series can in fact be split into 3 separate sections: main titles, handheld titles, and spin-offs. Ace Combat 7 will be the 16th game of the Ace Combat series altogether, but it will only be the 8th main title, the previous 7 being Ace Combats 1 through 6 and 0 as well. These main titles provide the best Ace Combat experience by far, and have exclusively remained on Sony consoles up until 2007 when Ace Combat 6 visited the Xbox 360, making it the black sheep of the family, and also somewhat the cheesiest.
Dance with an angel, Mom.
Lieutenant, I got a little piece of advice for you. Go dance with the angels.
Garuda 2, that's too dangerous.
I know it's dangerous, but it's time for me to dance with the angels.
The first 3 Ace Combats were released on PlayStation, with Ace Combats 4, 5 and 0 seeing a release on the PlayStation 2. The latter 3 are commonly known in the Ace Combat community as the Holy Trinity. All 3 titles, in some way, contain elements that make a great Ace Combat game. With that said, there are many other Ace Combat games that were released on several other platforms, but because they aren't main titles, we will not be talking about them in this video. I'm new to the series. Which game should I be looking to play before trying Ace Combat 7?
You can actually get away with playing any of the previous Ace Combat games to get a better bearing of the gameplay, because the mechanics are roughly the same. However, ACF and myself would recommend you play one of the Holy Trinity titles, if not all of them, because they best encompass what makes a good Ace Combat game. However, if you can't afford to dig up an old PS2 or a backwards compatible PS3, then we would recommend Project Wingman. Project Wingman is an indie title for the PC, and actually uses the same engine as Ace Combat 7, the Unreal 4 engine. It's not currently available for release, but we have left a download link in the description in case you're interested. So if Ace Combat 7 is the 8th main game, does that mean I have to play all the 7 previous games to understand the story?
This is the beauty of Ace Combat. You do not have to play any of the previous games in order to understand the story, because all the characters are new, and the same goes to the locations and the conflicts or wars. Now, of course, there will be some references to other previous games, but the story of Ace Combat 7 will stand on its own without having to rely on knowledge of the lore material, making playing it enjoyable for new players. Now let's suppose I do want to learn more about the lore directly related to Ace Combat 7. Where should I start?
For the quickest and most efficient way of genning up on any Ace Combat lore you want to know, I would recommend you go to Acepedia, the Ace Combat wiki, and you can do that by visiting the link in the description. But if you're looking for a real hands-on authentic Ace Combat experience, we would recommend you look at Ace Combat 4 or Ace Combat 5 or both. This is because the antagonist nation from Ace Combat 4 and the protagonist nation from Ace Combat 5, the Kingdom of Erugia and the Ocean Federation respectively, will be reprising similar roles in Ace Combat 7. This will also give you a good insight into references regarding the Stonehenge anti-asteroid railgun network, the Bassett Space Center and its mass driver facility, and also the aircraft carrier Kestrel.
If you want a brief introduction to the story of the Holy Trinity, Ace Combats 4, 5 and 0, you can also watch this other video that explains the story of the 3 games with memes.
So when and where does Ace Combat 7 take place?
The numbered games, including 0, X and 7, take place on an alternate version of Earth known in the community as Strangedrew. It is far more interesting than our Earth because instead of holding the Olympics every 4 years or so, it has large-scale wars occurring somewhere. Strangedrew is technologically more advanced too, riddled with all sorts of far-out war machines such as flying aircraft carriers and fortresses, railguns as big as skyscrapers, submarines the size of cruise ships, and nuclear-armored spacecraft.
As for Ace Combat 7, the game takes place in the year 2019, chronologically sitting between Ace Combat 6 and Ace Combat X.
Why are veteran fans so excited over Ace Combat 7? What sets it apart from the previous games, and why should newcomers be interested?
The first, foremost, and biggest reason for why Ace Combat veterans are excited about this is that finally, the story of Strangedrew is getting a new chapter. It's been 11 years since Ace Combat 6 came out, and we have seen nothing but 2 handheld spin-offs, a free-to-play game, and a full console title that tried bridging the gap between current and new players by mixing Call of Duty-esque action and traditional gameplay, and hybridizing it with a somewhat controversial dogfight mode mechanic.
This time, the new gameplay mechanic of Ace Combat 7 is centered around the weather system. During missions, the weather can change to both help and hinder the player. This can come in a form of severe gale force winds to knock off their planes off balance, thick clouds cover that can be used to hide from enemies, but at the same time render radar obsolete, and even lightning strikes that can even mess with your heads-up display. These kinds of challenges present a healthy risk versus reward balance. Do you stubbornly chase that one elusive enemy through a cloudy, tight-walled canyon and risk kissing the rocks, or play safe and pounce on them once they're in the clear air? Is Ace Combat realistic?
Well, duh. With the aforementioned flying aircraft carriers, 100 missiles stuck to your aircraft, and doing 180s at Mach 2 without blacking out or killing the pilot, Ace Combat's more real than real life.
So this concludes part 1 of the most frequently asked questions about Ace Combat 7. We hope this video was helpful to you new players, and stay tuned for part 2.
Part 2 will be uploaded on my channel, but in the meantime subscribe to ACF and myself for more Ace Combat videos.
Also be sure to like and share this video if it was helpful.
So please leave your questions in the comment section below so that we can answer them in the next video.